Well, hello, everybody out there in the ether world. My name is Ken Gutho, and I'd like to welcome you to our Success Beyond Beliefs question and answer video. It'll just be 15, 20 minutes long. We created this so that you could get a little bit of a sampling of what you might, how you might benefit from the workshop. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ken Gutho, as I said, and I'm the founder of the Bay Area Non-Smoking Center in the San Francisco Bay Area. I do hypnosis. My background is also in consulting and some business background as well. And I'd like to just quickly go around and have everyone introduce themselves on the call so you can meet them. And Lynn, why don't you introduce yourself?
Thank you, Ken. So I'm Lynn Samita and president of Mirrors Point Facilitators, Inc., which is based up in Vancouver, British Columbia. I'm the developer of Success Beyond Beliefs and also the one-on-one process called Prime Potential, which we really love both the individual work as well as this group program, and I'm very excited to be coming back to San Francisco. Over to you, Sherry.
Hi, I'm Sherry Johnson, and I am a certified Prime Potential facilitator. I also have about 25 years doing sales and marketing in corporate America, as well as being a certified life coach. And my home base is here in Pleasant Hill, California.
Okay. So, Sherry, I know that you had attended your first Success Beyond Beliefs probably a little over maybe two and a half years ago. And at that time, you had just gone through a major loss. Could you share a little bit of about what the workshop was able to give to you?
Yeah, Ken. I came to Success Beyond Beliefs, and my mom had just passed away very suddenly. Right before that, and what I realized is that through this work, it helped so much in the grief process. It certainly didn't bring my mom back, and it certainly didn't take away the fact that I missed her. But what I realized is there was a lot of other stuff loaded on top of that grief, like past hurts, feeling betrayed, stuff from my childhood, me needing to forgive myself for things that I had done or not done as a daughter. Just being good enough, being there enough, like all of this baggage that was loaded on top of missing my mom that I was able to shed and let go of so that I could truly grieve just the loss, but not the loss on top of all this other stuff.
Wonderful. Thank you. Now, Lynn, you've just recently gone through some health challenges of your own. Could you share a little bit about that experience?
Yes, I experienced going through uterine cancer, and so I had both surgery and chemo and radiation. And one of the things that I think is so prevalent that most people feel is a tremendous amount of fear that just almost feels like it's part and parcel of any major health challenge. And what was really very, very powerful from the work that I've done for myself and the work that we do in Success Beyond Beliefs is there really is a way to clear that fear from the whole nervous system and allow you to kind of find a solid ground, a solid foundation, so that you still have the challenges to deal with your health and whatnot, but it's not that you're coming from this overwhelming fear that just really disables any kind of effective managing of the situation. And you know, at the time when you really need to have your wits about you and you really need to feel clear-headed, fear really scrambles all of that. And so in the program, it's really powerful when people can clear some of that out and find a place where they feel solid inside, and then they have so much more resources to deal with when in that kind of a health challenge situation.
Thank you. Now, Lynn, you know, depression and anxiety are really rampant these days. Can you tell me a little bit about how Success Belief addresses those issues and how the Success Beyond Belief is different than other approaches?
Yeah, that's a great question, Ken, because we're seeing so many people with different levels of anxiety, panic attacks, I should say, and just or overriding depression. And what really is going on in the nervous system, it's like something has been triggered inside of a person and they're now on hyper alert. It's almost like a fire alarm has gone off in their nervous system, and so the panic can show up at any time. It's very frightening when that happens, or the depression can just sort of almost like a wet blanket end up, you know, really dampening, deadening the whole system, and you feel like you're just sort of half alive. What we've discovered we can do really with this process of clearing is it's almost like a computer reboot. So if you think of a computer with, you know, all kinds of files open, it's like all of a sudden the system gets overwhelmed and overloaded. There's too much open, too much is being triggered. And through Success Beyond Beliefs, the process we guide people through is a process really like rebooting a computer so that their whole nervous system gets a fresh start. And what we had from people is great feedback in terms of, for depression, it's like it lifts and they're able to access their energy, their clear thinking. It's like life feels worth living again. With the anxiety, interestingly enough, and the panic, it's the very opposite almost. It's like that gets cleared out, and then there's a calmness. There's an ability to think. There's an ability to just feel like there's more space on the inside. And I think, Sherry, you even talked about that with the grief. It was like, you know, it wasn't so overwhelming like a tsunami. There was a bit more space for you to show up and to handle than, as you said, just the grief of your mom not being here. Not backlogged with all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Sherry, when you came to Success Beyond Beliefs, I think the most recent weekend, you came with your partner. And what was that like for you to have him there, and would you recommend it to others?
You know, that's a great question, Ken, and it was actually interesting because I didn't know how it was going to be having him there. But the one thing I learned very quickly is that we were having our own experiences and learning our own, it was our own experience even though we were sitting next to each other. So he was working on his, what I call U-Haul of stuff he's dragging around that he needed to work on, and I was working on my U-Haul. So although we were sitting next to each other in chairs, we had completely separate experiences. The other thing I'll tell you is that through that process, we've both been able to shift and shed so much stuff that it's changed and deepened our relationship a great deal. So it was wonderful for us, and I'll tell you that I truly believe that had we not done that work, that we wouldn't now be engaged in planning our wedding. It was that paramount and that important in our whole journey together. So it was an amazing experience.
Wow.
Wonderful, and congratulations.
Yeah. So, Ken, let me ask you a question. I know over the years we've done a few Success Beyond Beliefs programs, and you've referred many of your clients who dealt with issues like smoking, issues that had some addiction qualities, whether it was with weight or whatnot. What have you found and heard from your clients, and even why did you want to recommend this program to them?
Oh, that's a great question, Lynn. Well, you know, with the Bay Area Non-Smoking Center, I've helped, I guess, nearly 4,000 people stop smoking in one session now. And, you know, and that was great, except that after that session's over, the vast majority of my clients I didn't see again. And they just get on with their lives. But often they would contact me and say, okay, you know, I've stopped smoking now, which was this huge hurdle that I never thought I'd be able to overcome. You know, now what? Because now they had all this time and all this energy, and you know, they were saying, well, you know, is there something else we could do to get the rest of our life working better? And a lot of my clients were very successful people, and they want to take their life to the next level. So there was a range, and what I found was the Success Beyond Belief workshop was really wonderful to address each of their individual needs. Now, some of those were deeper addictions, like drinking, like heroin, and what's different about the Success Beyond Beliefs workshop approach is we're not actually addressing the addiction directly. We're looking at, we're mapping out identifying the underlying causes that drive the addictive behavior. And when those are cleared at the root, at its most base level, the addiction almost seems to take care of itself. So, so for addiction, it's been fantastic. And then to piggyback on something, Sherry, that you were saying about having your partner there, there's something very, very special about couples coming in together. Because, you know, we all, you know, I'm married too, and, you know, we all have little triggers that get activated by, you know, by the things that each other do. And sometimes we'll look at the other person and say, you know, why do you just get under my skin in that way? You know, if only you'd be a little bit different, then I'd be a lot happier. And I know I found myself in the past thinking that, and I know that my partner felt the same way about me. There was something really special and unique about really seeing each other go through the process and having that person look at how the whole thing got wired long before they were ever in a relationship with each other. And when I could look at my partner, my wife, and see that the stuff that I was getting triggered by, and watch how she had that whole thing wired, maybe even from childhood, and how she's been carrying this around her whole life, and then looking at the vulnerability of just, you know, really owning that and then releasing it. It's such a beautiful shared experience for both of us. And many of my clients said they felt the same way. It's almost like they've got a new shared language, this common experience that they went through this experience together, and it's really opened up the communication and really allows each other to see each other differently in relationship. And then the last thing, the third thing that really kind of stands out for me is the clients who said, okay, I've stopped the smoking. That was a big hurdle. Now I just want to take the lid off. I want to take my performance and my life and my thinking and my consciousness to a whole new level. And what the Success Beyond Beliefs workshop was able to do for them is create a situation where they can really, you know, I guess in the past they would try to either work smarter or work harder, but they say, Ken, I don't have any more energy, and I don't have any more hours in the day. How do I take it to the next level? Because I don't have any more time or energy. And it's not even about working smarter. But when they're able to identify the drag on their system, all this constructed identity, and I apologize because that's kind of a cliche term that we use here within the workshop, when they looked at all the balls that they had juggling in the air just to keep life going, and all the way that they had their own personal identity invested in being a certain way, when they were able to see how that whole thing was wired and it wasn't serving them, it was actually costing them. It was costing them in energy, it was costing them in time, it was costing them in efficiency, then the system kind of tilted and clicked, and at that point there was an opening to clear that all away. And when that was cleared, it was like their energy seemed to triple, their peace and well-being seemed to go up, and their performance physically and mentally and emotionally seemed to just soar. So those are the three things that my clients have noticed, I think, the three biggest.
And I know, Ken, you asked me sort of what is different and distinct about this workshop. And the one other thing I would add is it's not a workshop where we're talking at people and just giving information for the mind. It really is a workshop where they're going to understand how their system has been working, just the way you've been describing, but then have a chance to see exactly how they're in their own way and go through that process of clearing so that they come out at the end of 2.5 days, you know, really in a place of more energy, more peace, more calm, more mental clarity, and just a whole lot more ready for the life they really want to build and create. Okay.
Well, wonderful. Well, I hope everyone out there you know, got some information. I hope we've whet your appetites. I'm sure there are many more questions that we didn't have time to address in this short, you know, conversation. But if this sparked some curiosity, please contact one of us, and we'd be very, very happy to answer any more questions. We look forward to seeing you on the weekend workshop.